Ladies and gentlemen, I love doing my Buffalo Sabre podcast because there's some great followers on the channel. It gives good input on the importance of the Swords to their love of hockey and their love of the game. But today we're going to be talking about the expansion season for Buffalo, where the coach and GM Punch Imlach entered the Sabres universe after a heavy conflict of interest, and by the luck, literally a spin of the wheel, the great Gil Perreault became the Sabres' number one player for the next 17 years. Now, the 70-71 Buffalo Sabres season was their first campaign in the NHL. Now, the Sabres had the first pick in the 1970 NHL Amateur Draft, again, which he used to select Gil Perreault. He won on a spin of the wheel with Vancouver taking Dale Talon. Led by Perreault's NHL record of 38 would end up 24-39-15, ahead of the expansion Canucks and Detroit Red Wings in the Eastern Division. However, he finished 19 points behind the Maple Leafs in the division, out of a playoff berth. Now, the Sabres played their home games at the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium. The Aud was previously home of the Buffalo Bison's AHL team that won numerous Calder Cups. To make way for the Sabres, the Bisons folded following the 1970 season, which saw the Bisons win their fifth and final Calder Cup. For the Sabres' first season, they played at the Aud. They only had a capacity of 12,280, but the arena would be renovated following the season to expand capacity. Now, put it in perspective, this first season was more of a mixture of former Original 6, Expansion 12, and young players. They made it to the quarterfinals against Montreal in 73 and made it all the way to the Stanley Cup finals in 75. So from expansion of 70-71 to being a Stanley Cup contender in less than 4 years, that was pretty impressive, mainly because of Perreault and the rest of their prospects. Either they got or kept. Now, the Sabres, along with the Canucks, joined the NHL for the 71 campaign. The Sabres' first owners were Seymour and Northrop Knox, the scions of a family long prominent in western New York. The team's name, selected through a fan contest, was chosen because it was known as a weapon carried by leaders, and is also swift and strong on offense as well as defense. The Knoxes had twice before tried to get an NHL team, first when the NHL expanded in 1967 to 12 squads, and then unsuccessfully attempting to buy the Oakland Seals with the intent of moving them to Buffalo. At the time of their creation, the Sabres exercised their option to create their own AHL farm team, the Cincinnati Swords. On June 9, 1970, the NHL expansion draft was held to fill the Sabres and Canucks rosters. Now, the two new franchises, Buffalo and Vancouver, were going to spin the wheel to decide who's get number one. The Sabres then GM and coach Punch Imlach, who came over for Toronto, chose his favorite number 11, for a roulette wheel spin to determine which franchise would have their first choice in the draft. Ultimately, the Canucks were allocated numbers 1 while the Sabres had 11 to 20. When league president Clarence Campbell spun the wheel, he initially thought the pointer landed on 1. However, while Campbell was congratulating the Vancouver delegation, Imlach asked Campbell to check again. As it turned out, the pointer was on 11. This was the first year that the Montreal Canadiens didn't have the priority right to draft Quebecois junior players, which was normally 2. Consequently, Perreault was not available to Montreal and was taken first overall by the Sabres. Now, in that draft, other key players included Butch Denmarsh, the number 2 pick, Randy Werzob, Mike Morton, Mike Keeler, Timmy Reagan, Doug Rambaugh, who later went on to New York, and Luke Nadeau. That he picked up in the offseason through trades and deals, including Ted Hodgson, the great Roger Crozier in net, Floyd Smith and Brent Imlach from the Toronto system, Ron Anderson, Dave Dryden, Larry Keenan, Dick Duff, and Eddie Shack. Eddie Shack became a big star in Buffalo, of course, as he was in Toronto, and Terry Ball. Now, other players he picked up declaimed by waivers: Steve Atkinson, Bobby Bond from Detroit, the former Maple Leaf, Paul Andrea and Cliff Schwartz. Now, interleague draft, Kevin O'Shea, Schwartz yet again, and Brian McDonald. Now, in the regular season, the best. He came off really good in the second half, close to 500. But the interesting point was this: Punch Imlach was in total conflict of interest leading up to Buffalo. After being fired by the Leafs, it was expected that Imlach would join the NHL's new Vancouver franchise. Now, Imlach, longtime Maple Leaf official Joe Crozier and Foster Hewitt, who had been announcer for CBC for years, had become partners in the Vancouver Canucks of the Western Hockey League and were in line to become owners of the new Vancouver team. Total conflict of interest. But he didn't have the financial resources to buy the squad, which went to Medical Investment Corporation, or Medcor. Canucks for $2.8 million, with Imlach making a reported gain of more than $250,000. He was offered a job with the NHL Canucks, but accepted an offer from the Sabres as their first coach and GM in 1970. So again, Boston was first place that year, 57. Boston, nobody was going to catch them. Now that year, Perreault won a Calder, one of the best rookie campaigns ever, 38 goals and 72 points in 78 games. Phil Goyette, a great season, the former Hab, 15 goals and 61 points. Jerry Meehan had 55 points, including 24 goals. Donnelly Marshall, the former Hab, had 20 goals. Eddie Shack had 42 points, including 25 counters. Atkinson, an afterthought at the time, at 20 goals. Paul Andrea had 11. Al Hamilton had 30 points, Larry Keenan had 27, Doug Barry had 27, Ron Anderson had 14 big goals, Dickie Duff had 20 points in limited action, Floyd Smith had 17 points in 77 games, Reggie Fleming, a very colorful player, 16 points in 78 games. The original Jim Watson, not the Jim Watson with the Flyers, had 11 points, including 2 goals. Skip Crakey had 4 goals in 74 games, while Tracy Pratt was the unofficial protector of the team with 8 points in 76 games. And, of course, other players include Hap Myers, Mike McMahon, Paul Desbranches, Jean-Guy Legacy, Terry Ball, Francois Lacombe, Jean-Guy Talbot, former Hab, Tracy Pratt, Jim Watson, and the rest of the players. Now, Dave Dryden, Crozier, net. Dryden won 3-0. Crozier went 9-20-7, while Joe Daly went 12-16-8. Problem is with Buffalo that year, gave up way too many goals. They had a good offense, but played the first game against Montreal at home at the Odd, which is a great celebration of hockey. And as the years have gone on, we know that Buffalo has gained a lot of fan base in Canada because they were considered the fourth Canadian team for quite a while, besides, of course, Boston. But Buffalo at the time, and now we have New Jersey, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, and Buffalo in New York, New Jersey. So that's really good for hockey, hockey hotbeds in the New York, New Jersey area. So this podcast is dedicated to all my Sabres fans on the channel. If you like what you're doing here, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share. And don't forget, the Sabres will always be in the hearts of all Canadians because Gilbert Perreault and everybody else meant so much to us, especially the French connection. God bless the late Rick Martin and René Robert. Thanks for listening. Bye.